Hello folks, I'm Ed Overstreet and welcome to the, I guess it's daytime sky imaging channel. It is daytime, but it's the Night Sky Imaging YouTube channel and I am imaging the sun. So let's get started. I'm considering a time lapse today and what I'm looking at are what I am looking at is this part of the sun. I just processed this very quickly using IMPPG and Auto Stacker. But this is kind of what I'm looking at the image. And the only reason why, and it's a big reason, is that I do have some active filaments in this area, and of course I've got maybe a dozen sunspots or more, some very small, capable of becoming very big or merging, and some active plasma areas. So when the chromosphere is acting up like this, and when I have flares, that probably won't change that much during a 2 or 3 hour time lapse. But you never know. In fact, they may not change very much, these big three, but this may spit something up. And this may spit something up in the sun's atmosphere. So, all right, there could come from unknown. You never know. And that's what I love about imaging the sun. You just never know. So I do have this part of the sun right now. And this is the Astro Tech 65 EDQ with the Quark Chromosphere. And it's drifted a little bit, but that's okay. We'll move it back. But I want to take a trip around the sun, and we'll look at the sun with this kit. And I do have a different camera instead of the ASI174 mono camera. I'm using by the way, this is the wrong template. Let me try another better. Right now, while it's on my mind, I'm going to delete that template because I keep forgetting, and you guys get crowded out. Let me find. I'm working. Let's see. It is no more. All right, back to the sun. Let's see, I want to move west a little bit and center on this sunspot. And this is the part of the sky that I am pretty sure is going to get my attention. I have looked outside, or I've looked at the website Solar, and this is a 6-minute-old image, but these are those. In fact, since this image and the one I just took, this thing spurted up. But this has become larger. So things are happening out there. So I want to get that started. Active, very active sun. All right, let's see. That's good. I've just spilled coffee. And I'm so used to spilling coffee that I keep towels up here. I just cross my fingers that I don't spill it on keyboards and other electronics, which I have. There's a drawer full of keyboards. Some I just replaced, others I destroyed. But so this has got my attention, and this is why I'm kind of excited about getting this one started. So let's I've lost my other hand controller, and I don't need PhD 2. Oh, I think I am. I'm going to sync it on the sun, and let's it's always good to sync your planetary software with your mount in case you decide to pause and park the scope, and then you want to get back. They'll take you back where you were. You don't have to fiddle centering everything, or even find it in some cases. All right, let's see. You don't have to use this virtual controller. Let me try something else. I see where it is. All right. You get lost behind streaming boxes. Okay, so let's head we better and there really isn't. Let's go back outside and look at the let's bring this back up. There's just nothing going on. There's this prom. Oh, well, there's these flares here. So, and you've got, that's a pretty active area there. So, I don't know. Right in there. Also, look at this filament down here. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's still, this still looks to be the most impressive. This, and this going on. By the way, I do like this website. It's the gong2.nso.edu website. And this is the home page. No, it's not. This is the home page. And then if you want to get to where I am, go to the Gong H Alpha, and that brings up this page, and here again, this image. So, okay, let's go back out and continue our trip around the sun with the ASI533 and the Quark. Give me a second. There's that filament. We'll get rid of this histogram. And make sure if you're watching that you pick 1080p quality, otherwise you'll be at 400 and something. to stretch this some, just to see, not stretch it, but raise the gain, so I can go find those proms. Well, that's pretty much what it looked like here. Yep. So this is kind of what we're seeing. Let's bring this down to okay, so we kind of got a feel for the ASI533 and what's going on. Let's see, we want to go east. We also want to get rid of this reticle, because I may do a time lapse of the entire sun. Come on, let's go up. It's pretty centered. And let's go ahead and jack the gain up here. There's those 3 active flare players right there. These are coming these are areas of the sun that have already rotated across the face of the sun, and they're coming around again. I'm pretty sure I'll have to watch Tamitha Scout's next live update on space weather and get the names of those regions. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and take a couple pictures with the Scout. I think I'm in all caps. And 500. Let's take another. Let's take another. We're hearing some chatter now that rather than 2025 or 6 or 7 for the solar maximum, that we may be having, we may be close to solar maximum right now. There's, no kidding, a lot of action on the sun. Visual photography of the sun is at its all-time high for me, because I'm fairly new. I didn't have solar equipment during the last solar maximum, which was probably 8 or 9 years ago. And when I got the solar equipment 6 or 7 years ago, the sun was, if we got a sunspot, I was going backflips. And then Tamitha said on her Space Weather Woman channel that she thinks there could be 2 solar maximums, this one and then the one in 2025. So that's not off the table yet. So let's take another one. I'm kind of thinking I may just do a time lapse of the entire sun. I want to look for something here real quick. Let me bring up let me go back to, let's say, 4 days ago. Do I have a processed scout image? Alright, here's a processed scout image. It's not processed, it's just, it's waiting to be processed. And I was going to compare it to this one, but I'd have to process it in so I could bring out some of the goodies. Let's take another. No, I've just made up my mind. We're going to do a time lapse right here. So let me get my anchor point, and we'll pick this one right here to, well, let's make sure we've got the sun centered. So let's go back to circle, and it doesn't look like we are. I think we've got to come to bring the sun down a little. And maybe there. It looks pretty good for being centered. And now let's go to a single crosshair, and let's guide off of that one. Alright, so let's set up a I did Saturn last night, so I didn't want that one. Stop. Stop. Okay. We want more than one, and so we want hang on. It's finishing capture. What is it? Huh. I'm not sure what it's doing down here. Let's try start capture. And all right, there we go. We want say a 200, and we'll take a 30-second pause between images. Now let's make it 15. No, that's too close. 30 is good. And the number of frames we'll do is 500. Is that what we want to do? Okay, we've had a little drift. I'll just accept that and recenter right there. Looks like it's drifting west just a little bit. We're getting our second 500. We're going to need a recenter. And we've got to go up. We're going to get back over. Just in time. Hey, Warren. Welcome from, are you in London? Corin does deep sky imaging. I don't know, do you do any solar imaging? It's pretty active today. I screwed. I got to stop capture. I screwed this one up. So we'll go back and let's see. I want to move the sun down, so we got to hit north. Yeah, we're very active. Wrong way again. Tell you what I want to get off of is 8 times sidereal. All right, let's start back and oh, we're still capturing. I'm gonna have to sort that out. I thought I had stopped it. How are your skies, Corin? Are you getting any imaging in? Oh, cool. Yeah, I love the UK. I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. I've let this thing get out of hand. So I got to go north. Now I've got to go west a little bit here. .186. Let's just recenter it. Can't get it to move north or south. Here it comes. Now we gotta go west. No, east. And now north a tad. Alright, let's start the capture again. And we're at 187. This telescope is the Solar Scout by Daystar Instruments, and it's a it has a Quark Chromosphere built into it. That's the easiest way to explain it. Awesome. Awesome on your portable Skywatcher. Make sure you download and use EQ-SCOM EQ mode. It will replace your hand controller. So you're chasing the eclipse. I've only been in one total eclipse. It was close by here in 2019, I believe it was. It's quite an experience. Must have had a bird flying by. Yes. Yeah, this is on a Celestron AVX mount, and it tracks okay. It was one of the first mounts, that and an Ioptron ZEQ25 were the first mounts. No, I had a Vixen Altaz mount and a Vixen Equatorial mount were my first two mounts in 2009. And then AVX and an Ioptron were my second mounts. And then I got these, I got two of the Atlas Pro EQAZ. They're like Skywatcher. They're made by Skywatcher. And I put those on the piers. But I still have to, I've got a decent polar alignment because I do have air and RA in deck. As you can see, I'm moving east, west, north, and south, and the north and the south, of course, are the deck airs that I'm getting. But I manually polar align using an app on my iPhone. It's pretty. You can do that in the daytime. I'm too lazy to put the PoleMaster on it at night, which is what I really need to do so that I don't have to fight this as much. It still has some backlash and RA index, so it doesn't matter if it was perfectly polar aligned. I'm still going to have some backlash. I am doing a 200 AVI file, 200 AVIs time lapse. That sound right? And I probably should have used SER files instead of AVI with the sun, because I don't do any video cropping, and but I use AVI files for planetary because I use a program called Castrator that crops the images. Let me find, let me see, let's go to Facebook and go to my Facebook page. There I am, and I took Jupiter, this was 2 nights ago, and Saturn, that was 2 nights ago. I took a lot of them. I just processed two, and then I took some last night, but the scene wasn't really good. I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably I'll do like I did with those. I'll process the first one I took, the last one I took, and maybe one somewhere in the middle, and see if they're worth processing all of them over, since it takes time to do that. Well, it's kind of it's a unique experience, the solar eclipse. And we had a total eclipse here. We went about 30 miles outside of town to a fire station, and they just kind of opened it up for our photography group. We had about 200 people. A lot of them came in all over the world because they heard we were doing it. And of course, we were right smack dab in the path of totality. And it was just a fun experience to meet other people that are fascinated by everything that you see when you look up. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have done that. This camera on this Daystar Solar Scout is the ASI1600. It's really a deep sky camera. It's not a camera really that you want to use for planetary or solar or lunar as a rule, because it does not have, it's a large file and the frame rate's pretty slow. But AutoStacker is very forgiving, and in planetary, if you combine Castrator, which does an alignment with the crop, if you combine Castrator with AutoStacker, yeah, don't worry about frame rate. The frame rate is only a problem if it takes maybe 3 times as long to take a 10 image view of Jupiter. Then you have to derotate the images, and WinJuPost forgives of your issues there. So there's no reason to go nuts over, in my opinion, to go nuts over having a fast frame rate. What is important to me is that I get a good image with detail, and then I can use and depend on AutoStacker and Castrator and AutoStacker to do the aligning process, and then WinJuPost to derotate. Jupiter takes a trip around. It makes a rotation every 9 hours. So if you take an image of Jupiter over, say, 20 minutes, where you take a series of videos, then there's going to be rotation from the first image to the last image, and that would create a blurry image by definition. So you have to derotate the images and line them up, and that's what WinJuPost does. So again, there's no reason to, yeah, you want a reasonable frame rate, but right now, for example, I'm at 30 frames per second. And if you have a high detail camera and scene is okay, if you have a camera like the 1600, then you don't need 1,000 frames or 2,000 frames. 500 is a gracious plenty. Yeah, that's a good idea. Get a solar filter. Get you some solar glasses too, and make sure that you get a series of images. Start snapping before the eclipse starts, and then take one about every 5 seconds until the eclipse is over, and you'll have a number of images that will show the fraction of the eclipse change over your time period, and you can put those into a time lapse and have your own solar eclipse video. And of course, a lot of people just post each of the individual images together. I did that as well. I'm drifting again and talking and not paying attention, and so the sun's got bad me. I want to and then I forget what's up, what's down. Cancel. We're at 170. Let me get it right. Let's see. Okay, so we want to do 170 now. We have 170 images left, give or take. Also, during the solar eclipse, you know, take one about every 5 seconds during the beginning of the eclipse. But once you get towards the eclipse itself, take them as fast as you can take them, because there are things going on in the chromosphere that you don't want to miss. And it happens so fast that you'll have other people to get it, and you won't get it, and you'll be all frustrated when it's over with, because there's no redo. And you can't go out tomorrow night and pick up where you left off. Okay. I didn't think, you know, I really didn't think the solar eclipse would well, it didn't change my life, but I will tell you this: it is just spectacular to watch, and you will have it's an experience that you'll never regret having done it. Of course, unless your plane has problems going or coming. Shouldn't have said that. Strike that. So, something else that you can find yourself doing is helping other people who are lost with their cameras, and the next thing you know, it started, and you panic, and you kind of panic. Oh crap! And you may do everything from turn your camera off to bump the mount, and you're no longer centering the sun, and you're just killing yourself for it. You pay attention to your gear, and you don't leave it, and you just stay with your gear from beginning to, you know, help them long before the eclipse to get ready for it. But you'll have people say, I can't get it, you know, I'm not getting it, what am I doing wrong? And being a nice guy, you're running over to see if you can help them. So I'm gonna have to mute you, and my wife's giving me a call, so I'm gonna put you on mute. She's at the dentist, or she should be finished, and that's, I know she was calling to tell me she's done at the dentist and going shopping somewhere. Oh, she's going out to see my daughter or go out to her house. I know that's what it is, but she never answered the phone after she just called me. Because when you're set up, you got everything just the way you want it. You're guiding on the sun. You've got the sun in your optical train. You're looking at the sun. Everything looks good. You're all prepared. And then it's showtime. And you got people all around you with their setups. And some come with just their glasses. They're the smart ones. With their solar glasses, because they really enjoy it. And we're fumbling around with equipment. And somebody made the mistake of telling the fire department, why don't you turn the lights on so we can see when it gets dark? And they have these huge floodlights that go out over. So they threw the power, and then somebody went running in that doesn't and didn't think and said, can you turn the lights on? So during the eclipse, here comes the lights, and another group of upset imagers went running and turn the lights off, turn the lights, it's an eclipse, we want dark. I managed to my image of the solar eclipse went in 1,000 papers around the world, by the way. What happened was that the local newspaper, we're a small town, about altogether probably 150,000 people, and our local newspaper, I shoot sports pictures for them as a freelance photographer, and so they asked me if they knew I'd do astro imaging, and they asked me if I was going to do the solar eclipse, and I of course told them, and they wanted to know if they could buy a picture, and I said sure. So I didn't. They bought a picture, and at that time I only made $125 for a picture. So you know that's a given. You send them 10 sports pictures, you make $125. You send them an eclipse picture, you make $125. So anyway, so and that's most papers. They don't pay a whole lot more now. And so a member of my astronomy or my photo club, Dr. Phil Essie, and I were talking, and he said, hey, my sister's in New York, and she saw where Ed Overstreet from the Spartanburg Photography Guild had taken a solar eclipse picture. Do you know Ed Overstreet? And Phil and I were together there. And she said, yeah, we were there taking the eclipse pictures together. And says, well, it was in our paper. So Phil called me and he said, do you know that your solar picture was in the New York Times paper? And I said, no, I had no idea. You're kidding me. He said, yeah, I wouldn't call you to kid you. And but no, that's my sister. And he explained it. And so I called the newspaper, and they said, yes, we put your picture on the wire, and over 1,000 papers picked it up. So I'll see if I can find it, and I'll show you what it looks like. I actually don't know if it's on this computer. Let me go to Files and Desktop. I may have in my ECAP, let's see, there's Neowise, the comet I took, solar, Saturn, Milky Way. Oh, eclipse. Here it is. That was my solar eclipse picture. I better get back. And that was it. Well, I told I asked the paper, I called Alex Hicks is his name. He was editor, photo editor, and I said, do I get paid any more? He says, no, you don't. So they do. But that made me feel good. Thank you for not drifting too much, sun, while I went venturing over into a eclipse picture. Yeah, the more practice you do setting up. Now your mount will track the sun. As a matter of fact, when you bring up EQ mode, you can select solar tracking, but you need to install EQ mode, EQ MOD. Okay, I'm going to bring this up to show you. This is EQ and I don't have a mount connected, but it's going to bring up it's going to tell me that it can't connect. But if you install this software down here, you can, this is where you track in sidereal, the star. This is lunar tracking, and this is solar tracking. So install this software and check your solar tracking, because each of these celestial beings, stars, move at sidereal. The sun moves at its own rate. Uh-oh. Oh, I knew it was going to happen sometime this afternoon. But, well, folks, guess what? Now that I'm stopped, let's process one of those images and see what it looks like. And then we'll call it a day, because there's more clouds coming. By the way, this is the one I took with the other telescope. Let me bring up, well, let's go ahead and start this one first, and then I'll go back. I put 10, this is 10.3, Solar Scout time lapse. Let's just take the first one, and let's put the box here. And let's analyze. Let's see, I got surface, improved tracking. That takes a little more time, and this will take forever. All right, while that's doing that, I'm gonna bring up IMPPG, and I'm gonna load an image I took this morning with the other telescope. Here it is. And let's make sure we click those two boxes right here, and it'll process everything. And the first thing I want to do is put an anchor point right there and drag that up so I can bring this. These were those 3 active solar flares that I first looked at. Let's drag this down here, and let's put another anchor point there, and then let's bring this up. Let's go up to 3.0 here. I'll just slide it up. That's good enough. And then let's bring up about 1.45. Same thing here, 1.45. And then let's sweeten this. Let's darken the flares. I've got some clipping down here in the corner I need to crop out. So I'll crop this like so. Colorize it, and then I'll sharpen it, and I'll do all the rest of that in Photoshop. And that was with another telescope kit that I'm using. So let's go back to AutoStacker and see where it is. And we want to place a grid. I'm going to use 200 align points, and I want to make sure multi-scale is checked. Replace the align points that are already there. There aren't any, that's okay. Let's see. Quality wise, it looks like this line crosses the top 25% of my frames at about, this is 0% of frames, this is 100% of the frames, this is 25% of the frames taken. And it looks like it crosses over somewhere around halfway, about 12%, which is what I typically use. So I'm going to stack, we'll place the grid, and then I'm going to stack 12% of 500 frames. And this is a very slow laptop. Very slow. And come on, finish up. It's thinking. But this is a very large file frame. I'm just curious to see if the clouds are still. Okay, now we're going to stack. And while we're doing that, let's go back to the, it's still there, and look. So we have 145 remaining, and it's still going. And look, we don't have any drift. I wonder how many were screwed up by the clouds, though. Yeah. Corn, get familiar with EQ mode. go to Google, YouTube, Google EQ mode, and you want to watch Chris Stiletto's, watch all of his videos. There's about 20 real good ones. When it gets to periodic error correction, don't worry about those yet. But watch the ones on parking the telescope, aligning the telescope, polar aligning the telescope. Watch all of those so you can get familiar with them. We'll go back to AutoStacker, but I know it's not anywhere near finished. Let me create a new one, and we'll go to YouTube, and I'm going to type in and here's the ones you want. You want Chris, and you're going to want, go to his videos, and so here's lunar tracking. There'll probably be one. I don't know if there's one on solar tracking or not, but watch. Just make sure you check out these videos. Chris Stiletto. And there's my Jupiter, or my Saturn and my Jupiter I took. Okay, back out. Really, I haven't made any corrections. Maybe I should have just left the sun alone. And let's bring up AutoStacker, see where it is. It's probably working on stacking now. Yep, this is what takes the longest. And it's about done, and then it'll be over. Map analysis and recombination doesn't take very long. Even on this slow laptop. Okay, let's bring up IMPPG, and let's go to the folder with the files, and here it is, Solar Scout time lapse, isn't it? Yeah. And there's the folder with my file. And let's reset this, and reset this and this. And let's make sure we select and process the whole image, and let's fit the sun to the screen. And let's go ahead and place an anchor point and drag this up. Another anchor point right there, and then let's bring this up to 4,000. Well, let me type. I wonder what's wrong with my keyboard. I think my keyboard is unconnected. All right, and then let's bring this up and this up. Okay, it's applying all those processes. It'll take it a second, and it's working on them. There you go. It may need a little more work, but that's Auto Stacker doing its thing. Pretty cool. I'm not going to save it or this. And did I just lose? Oh, I just lost sharp cap. I don't know if it crashed, but we just lost our time lapse. While we're at it, let's just go ahead and look at the other camera. And I need a flat frame. I'm going to go ahead and take one now. So get rid of the dust before I forget, before clouds come back up. So I'm going to change the speed to we'll come back a little bit, stop it right there, and then let's defocus about 1,000 steps. And there's all the dust on the sensor that I need to remove. Let's go up and drop the gain to 0. And it always works better with flats. You do that, and let's get our histogram a little bit more, a little more, and that's too much. You can just tell by looking at it. And so I want a quick capture of all I need. Well, let me change the name of this to flat. Oh, my keyboard is not working, so I've done something. All right, well, we're not going to change the name. I'll just have to find it. Or maybe I can get the keyboard to work. Hang on. Okay. Oh, it's still not working. That's crazy. Move my coffee so I don't spill it. No, I didn't spill coffee on it. I may have on the other keyboard. I can change USB port. Okay, well, we're not going to be able to one more. That's insane. Huh. Well, let's go ahead and take it. This will be, I'll find it because I know it's going to be the only defocused image I took. Chris is the absolute authority on he's the absolute authority on EQ mode or EQ SCOM. He's one of the developers. He's probably the only one that still works on the software. Okay, we got this. I'm gonna take another flat and that's it. Well, Corn, I'm gonna catch you later. Monster 40. Thanks for coming by and stopping in. I don't know if you're still there. And Arts Type, thank you for stopping by and checking out the channel. I will catch you guys later. And but right now, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down and check the sky for clouds. I have a photo shoot this afternoon at 3 or 4 or 3. I need to leave at 3. I think it's at 4. And I'll be tied up for a couple, 3 hours back tonight. And I will probably be imaging live again tonight, something else. I'll be doing Saturn and Jupiter, but I'll probably pick another deep sky target. I will image with 2 scopes. So until then, catch you later. I hope everybody has a great rest of the day.